Hey guys, Ryan the Fan Guy here, and today I'd figured, I only did like short demonstrations in the last video of Little Havana Delray, but some people might be asking, could you do demonstrations on some of the fans? And yes, it's been a while since I've done demonstrations, so yeah, here's starting with the St. Clair. This one is start here because, this one is in the lot foyer. I may replace this one at some point, but, unfortunately I can't reach the chains on it, and the chain is set to medium on this one, which I have not set this one to high because I may have this one come down soon. But if I want to keep this one there, I will eventually set it to high. But right now, it's going to be set to medium for this video. Controls right here. It's the light. The lights are all default to be on, so it's light off. Here's low. Low is pretty slow on this one. The others are pretty fast on high. But, this fan was chosen here. Like, this house is built in '09, and the St. Clairs might have been discontinued. I think the owners, the contract builders actually of this house, got the St. Clairs because because they think they were the same people who built Little Havana in Miami, so they had like about 200 St. Clairs in stock. So they put some St. Clairs in some of the houses, and they gave some St. Clairs to us, and we're unfortunately out of St. Clairs because we used all of them for here. No, because they all of them were used for here, and then the builders used some of the St. Clairs for the second floor, supplied some for the living room, the office. But they wanted to do St. Clairs in the library, but they went with they were originally I think they were originally St. Clairs in the library, but they were replaced with classic styles and brushed nickel. But here's low. Now low is pretty slow on this fan. Anyways, here's medium with the light. And medium's very slow, obviously, because the chain's set to medium. I'm going to demonstrate the fans in the common areas first, and then maybe the bedroom fans might get individual videos, but, I'm not going to do that bother with the Highburys because I hate those fans with a passion. But, yeah, here's medium. The Highburys are going to go soon. I'm going to replace them with different fans. Maybe something contemporary. I might do the Roto and Roblox. The Roto's an unfinished project, so. But I gotta do the Roto and put the Roto XL back in. Just the light off. It's about medium. Here's high, which is actually medium with the pull chain, with factory medium with the pull chain. Here's that's high. You can see it's moving some air. It's moving some air, but not a whole lot because it's just medium speed. All the St. Clairs move a lot of air though, but this one's moving some, but just it's moving decent. But it's not a lot because, like I said, it's medium speed. Only medium speed with high speed on the wall control. Anyways, here's off. And the light on. I don't know how long the spin down time in St. Clair is going to be. Thank goodness no bad capacitor in this one. The capacitor on it's fine, but I just haven't tested the speeds on it yet. All of them, these St. Clair surprisingly have good capacitors. The ones at the Miami location had bad capacitors. Few of them had bad capacitors when they all died out, unfortunately. But these ones have good. I don't think these were used that much. This one particularly wasn't used at all because the bearings are good on it. But I think maybe one time it was used. But other than that, it's so clean. Like, it. I think the original owners did not use it at all, apparently. Maybe the ones on the second floor were used, but if they were used, they liked them on medium. They used them probably in the summer, but then the fall, or without the AC on. But I like to use them usually on low, sometimes medium. But I did have them on medium because it was cool out and the AC. We didn't feel like the AC, so I figured I'd get a breeze from the fans. And that's when I need a breeze from the fans. They're usually on medium. Usually, no high speed for me. But I wouldn't mind this one running on factory medium because I don't. Because it's just a foyer area. What can you expect? All right here we have 200 passport threes. Here's low on this one, low on this one. The passport threes in the other area are going to be hard to demonstrate. There's more passport threes. I may demonstrate the landmark in here. It's a landmark 2. That's in there. Well, it's labeled as landmark 3, but it's actually considered a landmark 2. Got more passport threes in there. Here's low for these 2 passport threes. These passport threes came with the contractors bought them, and they did have, then the Miami location did have passport threes as well, but they are all broken. They were used way too much, actually. All the fans in the Miami location, the original ones, they were used. Most of them were pretty much used way too much. These ones, surprisingly, the owners took good care of them, and they called some handymen to come fix them whenever they had problems. Like maybe some point the chains were broken or set to medium or low, the handyman came and fix them when a balloon got stuck on them, or if the chains got set to medium or low. And the passport threes in the other house in Miami, the balloons got stuck on those ones, and the owner refused to take them off and didn't want them used after a balloon got stuck, which is kind of hideous in my opinion. But thankfully we tossed those fans out and put different fans in and capped off the spots until we found better fans. Here's medium. Thankfully, these ones are set to high. The original owners liked them set to high, but the handyman knew to set the chains back to high if they had problems. They tested them after cleaning them usually. And if the chain got set to low or medium or accidentally ended up in reverse, then they'll end up back and forward. And surprisingly, these fans weren't used too often. But I mean, sometimes the original owners put them on medium, but they were not used too often. That one was hard. That was the one St. Clair's upstairs were sometimes used too in the family room ones. But this St. Clair right here was hardly used. And they didn't care if the chain was set to medium because it was hardly because as you saw it was hardly used. Like I know I was repeating myself, but these ones are set to high though, thankfully, because the owners use them sometimes, but not a whole lot. It's about high. And here's spin down. These ones might take a little long to spin down. And I might do the landmark after and then do the passport and maybe lastly do the passport threes out here. The part 2 would be dining room, kitchen, Bajas, family living room, private dining room, living room, and the family room. A couple of the fans here have bad capacitors. The Brookdales, one of the Brookdales in the family room has a bad cap. Or maybe both of them do, I'm not sure. I'll have to test them off video. Which Brookdales and private dining room might be both good, but one of the ones in the family room has a bad cap. Probably because they use probably the 188 by 25, and the cap is kind of weak value. Like Brookdales aren't the best, but they're okay. I mean, I don't mind the design of it, but I just don't think they're the best, especially when it comes to capacitors failing. Like I would up it to a 5 if microfarad or 6, or if it could have a capability of 6. I wouldn't mind doing a 6 microfarad in it. But if the 188 by 25 or 30, then probably 5.5 would be good. 5 is microfarads, what these two use. And these passport 30s are done soon. That one's done and that one's done. Anyways, so the ones out here, let's start them on low, 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 and low, and low. Then I might do the landmark last, actually. They look great when they're on low, actually. Like, this is the speed I'd probably keep them on, usually. Until I find better fans for here. But pretty much I like low. Sometimes the game lags if some of these fans might need wall controls soon, like the Pro Series and some of the bedrooms need wall controls. Like, I'm going to do that a little later. Like, I don't mind demonstrating the Pro Series. I like those fans. My school has them. That's low. I mean, a couple of these, you only like a couple of them running from time to time, but not all of them running. I like all of them to run. Sometimes I'll have a couple of them off from time to time. He's medium, 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 and medium. The ones at the other little Havana location shared a control. Two fans shared two fans shared one control. I think the two in the front shared a control. They had then 4 shared one control, and then 4 shared one control, and then 2 shared one control, which that was not a good setup. Like 2 fans spun like they were on low with one control, and 2. Then 4 fans and they're on one control. They spun really slow on all speeds, like tortoise pace, like snail speed, tortoise speed, and high. That's all they had for the 4 fans on one control. The 2 fans spun like slow, like aesthetic low, and regular low, and high, which is weird. But these ones are on separate controls, thankfully. That might have ruined all the Passport 3s too at the Miami location. But thankfully, the electricians rewired them, so they all be on separate controls like this one. And here's high, 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 high. I'm not going to bother with reverse. Sorry, I'm texting Sorry. Sorry if I was zoning out. Let's go back to Little Havana here. Ryan and I were texting about something. Something related with Blake drama, which I'm not going to put on this video. But they're all moving a lot of air. It's hot for high speed. The only speed the other ones, and actually blades got bent on the other ones in Miami because they were used on high a lot because of the shared controls. Sometimes the chains were set to medium on them. Sometimes they ended up being set to low. Like it varied usually because they all shared a control. Off, 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 off. Thankfully, the controls are right here because this is an area that people are generally not allowed in because it's like leads up to the bedrooms. We want the controls in an area where people aren't really allowed in. I'm not going to do voice to text on here, on video here, because it's might involve some drama, which I don't want to get any drama on this channel. I'm a titanium. Shouldn't die. Da, 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 da. And that's it for these ones. Maybe I'll do landmark next. It's my neighbor. Slow. It's about low. Here's medium. This landmark might get replaced soon because it's not the best fan. It's not that good. It's like not that good of a fan, but you know, landmark 2. That's a landmark 2, so they're okay. This one's made by Aircool at least. It's medium. And since this one's made by Aircool, I might some of the fans I might donate. I'm gonna put downstairs. I'll decide what to do with the Passport 3. Since they're not bad fans, I could keep them for a little while up here. I mean, if I decide to replace these ones, I'm gonna probably keep these 2 more than likely. That's high on the landmark. The one at the hotel I stayed at in Florida has bad bearings and has bearing noise like this one. The bearings are smooth, surprisingly, because most fans that get used a lot have bad bearings. Sorry, that was just a video. Boom, clapping, na, 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 na. So, still recording? Yes, I'm still recording. I may do one more fan. Come on, landmark, stop. It's taking a long spin down time. Some landmarks do that. The one at my grandparents' old house took a long spin down time. Even at the Landmark 3, it's made by SMC. It doesn't use the same motor as a Quick Connect, though. Quick Connect uses a more stronger motor. And the SMC ones don't really sag. Not the Four Seasons 3, not the Hybrids, because they're junky, of course. Those Bajas are going to have to go soon, because I hate those. Those are the worst fans in the house. People chose that for the kitchen. I think the interior designers chose it for the kitchen, which is not good. Anyways, let's do the Exceeders next. Just down light. I'm going to turn both lights on for the whole video. Light, 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 light. They do both lights, so let's put them on low. Low, 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 and low. My mom's friend had one in her old house. She's the one with the mink air gyro. I no longer see that fan because they moved out and left the fan. They moved out and left the fan behind. They also had a Landmark 3 Plus 42-inch on a SMC made on a dimmer, which somehow the electrician wired it so when they wanted a light on a dimmer, they put the fan on a dimmer and they put the light on a on-off switch. The Augustas were controlled by a Lutron Skylark control. The Landmark downstairs was controlled by a Lutron Skylark. I thought they had another Minka Air fan upstairs, but it turns out it was one of these Harbor Breeze Exceeders. Which those aren't bad fans. It was stuck on low. It had a reverse button in the remote, but it was stuck on low reverse. One day I want to update this fan because I actually like these fans. It's about low. They have a pretty good low speed, surprisingly. Here's medium. And here's high. They're moving a pretty good amount of air too. Off, off, and off, and let it spin down. That wind turbine's driving me nuts next door. Don't mind the wind turbine. So I'm just trying to find some songs to add to my Christmas playlist. And that one stopped. They take a long spin down time, surprisingly. And that is it. That is Fan Demonstrations Part 1. Thanks for watching. Enjoy, like, comment, subscribe.